Once upon a midnight dreary, well I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore. While I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "This some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. "Only this, and nothing more." Ah, distinctly I remember it was the bleak December, and each separate dying ember brought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I sought to borrow from my book secretes of sorrow, sorrow of the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels named Lenore, nameless here forevermore. And the silken sad uncertain rustling of each purple curtain filled me when fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now, to still the beating of my heart, to, I stood repeating, "This some visitor entering entrance at my chamber door, some late visitors entering entrance at my chamber door. This is it, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, "oh madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is, I was snapping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping, tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. I Here I opened wide the door, darkness there, and nothing more. Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word Lenore. This I whispered, and echo murmured back the word Lenore. Merely this, and nothing more. Back into the chamber, turning, all my soul within me burning. Soon again I heard a tapping, somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is something at my window's lattice. Let me see, then, what fret is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. This the wind, and nothing more." Open here I flung the shutter, when, with many flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore, not the least obeisance made he. Not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mine of lord or lady, perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird, beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance I wore, thought thy crests be shorn and shaven, thou, I said, art shorn or craven, ghastly grim, an ancient raven wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what lordly name is on the night's Plothian shore? Quoth the raven, nevermore. Much I marvel this ungainly fellow to hear discourse so plainly. Thought its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculptured bust above his chamber door, with such a name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placed bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing further than he uttered, not a feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, only friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before. Then the bird said, nevermore. Startled at the stillness broken by reply so apply spoken, doubtless, said I, what it utters is its only stock and store, carved from some unhappy master whom unmercifully disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his song one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope that melancholy burden bore of never, nevermore. But the raven still beguiling all my fancy into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking nevermore. This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing, to the fowl whose fairly eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining on the cushion velvet lining that the lamplight gloated o'er, but whose velvet violet lining with the lamplight gloating o'er she shall press, nevermore. Then methought the air grew denser, perfume from an unseen censer, swung by seraphim whose footfall tinkled on the turfed floor. Wrenched I cried, that God hath lent thee by these angels he hath sent thee. Respite, respite, and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff, this kind of methem, and forgot this last Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, whether temper sent, whether tempest tossed thee here ashore, desolate yet all undoubted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, bird or devil, by the heaven that bends above us, by the God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden, if within the distant Aidenn it shall clasp a sainted maiden whom the angels named Lenore, clasp a rare and radiant maiden whom the angels named Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word outside in parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked, upstarting. Get thee back into the tempest and the night's pludient shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thou soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, and his eyes have all the seeing of a demon that is dreaming, and that lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor, and his soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore.